Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit this beautiful Ajisai Raglan sweater with German short row. Let's get started. Please check my description box for all the details. I put pretty much everything, including the written pattern and all the link you need. Today, I'm going to show you how to knit this beautiful Ajisai Raglan sweater. And today's key point is German short row with increasing in flat if it's necessary. It's a little bit complicated because you have to think a lot of things. You know, German short row increasing actually on right side and wrong side. So I'm going to go with the slowly and step by step. And the second key point is this beautiful Ajisai flower and total of 56 row. So you really have to, think when you want to start. And it's all about your swatch and gauge and do a little bit of the math. And I add these beautiful flowers front and back. However, if you think this is too much, you can add only, on front. It's really up to you. Okay? So, first of all, you have to knit your swatch and take a gauge. Okay? And then you figured it out, the cast on number and everything together. Okay? My actual neck measurement is 12 inch and start at least double. Why? That's because I'm using 2x2 rib and it shrink a bit. And as you can see, the top of the neck rib is smaller than, 24 inches. However, at the bottom of the neck rib is 24 inches. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't like feeling, of choking, you better start with double size or more. Okay, let's do the math together. My math gauge template. I made this gauge template and this is quite useful. If you already have this, just open this and do the math with your number. And if you don't, you have two options. One, you can do your math manually by yourself. It's just a ratio math, so it's not that difficult. However, it's just pain in neck. And second of all, this is 7 Canadian dollar and you can buy this. But if you want to buy this, please watch my video explaining how to use this template, with different video. I include everything you need in my description box. And if you understand and you think you can use this, you can purchase this. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm going to use the upgraded version. Okay, and here, number 4, your gauge. So I'm going to actually put my swatch and gauge information. So my swatch was 4 inch by 4 inch and I had 20 stitches within 4 inch and 29 rows within 4 inch. So this is top-down sweater, which means starting with your neck. So I want to find out the cast on number for the neck, right? And do you remember I said, my actual neck size was 12 inches and I want to start with at least double size, so which is 24. So the cast on means stitch count, right? So right here, going down, width. Okay, my width is 24 inch. So I put 24 and right here, 120. And this number has to be multiple of 12. And as you can see, 120 is multiple of 12. But if you got like, 96 or, 80 or 160 and you don't know that's, multiple of 12, and here is the kit. Put 12 and enter, and those are the number multiple of 12. So 120 is, there you go, multiple of 12. So if your number was 96, that's multiple of 12. But if it's your number was 80, there you go, 80 is not multiple of 12. So you have to pick either 84, 72, or 96. If you don't have the number here, I usually go with bigger number, okay, because it's safe. So this is just a check, okay? So my cast on number is 120. And I want you to actually find out two more numbers for now. One is the German short row. I am going to add a little bit for back piece. So the back neck is a little bit higher than front neck. You know what I'm saying? That fits you better, right? And I gotta tell you, about 1 inch to 2 inch higher than the front neck. That's the ideal number, and I'm gonna go with the 2 inches this time. Okay, and this is the height, right? So I am going to put 2 inch, then 14.5 row. But in knitting, there's no 0.5, 0.3, number, right? Has to be prime number. So I am going to go with 14 because this number has to be even number. You know what I'm saying? So 14 or 12 or 16. So I'm going to go with 14. And one more number, which is about the Ajisai flower design. Ajisai flower complete on row number 56. So I want to know the height. You know what I'm saying? So number 10, your row 56. So if I complete the Ajisai flower design, that'll be about 7.7 inches, which means, I have to think about this, height, because when I finish the increasing, I'm going to start knitting the body part, right? And I have to stop before 7.7 inches before the rib starts. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to think backwards. That's why you have to know this number, because, if you don't even think about this number, okay, and knit, 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 and then, okay, let's, add Ajisai flower, but maybe you knit way too, long already, then your sweater is going to be so long, okay? Or if you start, knitting Ajisai flower right after the increase, and that's fine, but it's going to be quite short. You know what I'm saying? So I think you should know this number. Also, a couple more things I want to actually let you know. I made 2 designs Okay, right here. This is the bigger flower version, and this is smaller flower version. And a lot of people likes, a smaller flower version. So I include this. Also, I wrote it down the short version. Okay. So, if you don't want to knit 56 rows, I make the shorter version. So finish with 44 rows. Okay. So this is customized sweater. So you can do whatever you want. So pretty much it. And I will have to come back here for more math. Okay. So I'm going to just keep it as is. So let's move on. This is what I used. I used 4 skeins total. Cast on 120 or multiple of 12, your number. I actually made 121 because I am going to lose 1 stitch just before I start 2 by 2 ribbon. So here comes the connection, okay? Slip 1 stitch purlwise like that, and then the stitch behind, pass that over. After this, you already connect. And usually that connection part is loose, but with this way, it's not going to be loose. So you add biggie marker now, then 2 by 2 ribbon starts. Okay, so 2 by 2, which is repeat of knit 2 and purl 2. You have to be very careful on first row because from the second row you just knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. Okay, this is the reason why you have to have multiple of 12. Multiple of 12 means multiple of 4. So you start with knit and end with purl 2. Okay, so I knitted it about 2 inch, and this is done for neck rib. And next row should be preparation row, all knit with 1 size bigger needle. And while you're knitting, I am going to add 4 markers, which is Raglan line. Okay, so I'm gonna divide by 4 parts, but little bit you need to do the math. So after this clip, I am going to show you how to divide, but back piece and then sleeves both side, and rest of them should be the front piece. And then I am going to start knitting preparation row. Don't worry, I will show you step by step. Okay? Add raglan marker. This is your neck rib. And the red line, this is the beginning marker. And beginning marker has to be in the center of the back piece. Okay? And first of all, you have to know your base number, the whole stitch divided by 6, which means cast on number divided by 6. For me, 120 was my cast on number, divided by 6 is 20. So 20 is my base number. So back and front, base number times 2 each. So this has to be 40 for me and 40 for me over there too, the front. So this is the center. So count 20 here and count this side and then add marker. And right here, both sides, this is sleeves, and sleeves should be base number times 1 for each side. So 20 and 20. And rest of them should be front, which is base number times 2. Okay, that's how you add marker. So this blue line will be the raglan markers. The German short row as well. Okay, After I divide it by 4 pieces, I am going to add 2 more markers for German short row, which is in between front pieces, right here and right here, 2 markers, okay? And this is how you find out. The target stitch count is cast on number minus base number. So for me, I have 120 cast on minus my base number was 20, so 100 stitches. Okay, so I put marker here and here. In between those two, I have a 20 stitches, which is the base number. So outside of the, German short row marker, I have 100. Okay, those 100 stitches are the target for German short row. Here's the thing. Okay, so starting from the begin marker, I'm gonna go this way and do German short row, and I am going to coming back and this way. So when I go in this way, it's right side knitting. And when I turn and coming back, I'm actually working on the wrong side, which is purl. And just go back and forth, little by little. And when I reach the Raglan marker, I have to do increasing. And then coming back, then I have to do increasing. But again, when I go this way, increase on right side. But when I coming back this way, I have to increase on wrong side. Okay? And increasing at the Raglan line, increasing row number 1, increase both side of the marker, and increasing row number 2, nothing, just, knit or purl. You know what I'm saying? Because increasing on right side means second row should be purl side, so no increasing. However, this side, you increase on wrong side, and when you come back, that's the increasing row number 2. So no increasing on right side. This is little confusing, So you have to think about the German short row. Also, you have to think about the increasing. And now you have to knit flat, so you have right side and wrong side. So it's a little bit complicated. But if you think carefully, maybe write it down, you should be able to do it. Okay? Also, I usually put the short row, just only half back side. But this time, I'm going to actually reach a little bit more here. Okay? So only those 20 stitches, I don't do German short row. But don't worry about it. As you know, you just go back and forth. So, close to the front, less row count. And this around the begin marker is more row because you always pass the begin marker many times. Okay? And again, so 100 stitches, that's the target, JSR, right? And add 2 markers. So 50 stitch, count 50 stitch each from begin marker. Okay, I got it. And now target height at the back of the sweater. Do you remember I found out the row count within 2 inch? Here is the time you need. Okay, so my 2 inch is 14 rows. This number has to be even number, right? So 100 target divided by 14 is about 7 stitches, 7 point something. But again, there's no point something in knitting. So I picked the number 7. So here's the thing. I'm going to go knit 7 and do JSR, coming back and reset by passing the begin marker and go 7 and do the JSR thing and just, moving back and forth like this. Okay? So 100 stitches the target, and my German short row number is the 7 because of this math. Okay? So let's do the JSR. Okay, so as I explained earlier, I already put 4 blue marker, which is Raglan marker, and here is begin marker in the center of the back piece. And the other side is front. Then 2 sides are the sleeves, and red and yellow marker is German short row marker. Okay, so I usually add short row only back piece. I split in half and only back piece I add short row. However, this time I am going to add from red, yellow, that, JSR marker. Okay, in between those 2 markers are 20 and rest of them are my target. 100 stitches. I already talked about it. That's my German short row target. Anyway, so starting from the begin marker, I'm gonna go towards the red and yellow, just back and forth. And whenever you go back and forth, you have to pass the Raglan line. And you have to increase this time. Okay, here is my old sweater. Increasing starts mid of nowhere for back piece, but front piece increasing starts right after the neck rib because I add short row only for back piece first and then start increasing for back and front at the same time. This is the reason why increasing starts kind of mid of nowhere. Okay? But this time, I am going to add short row as well as increasing at the same time. And I want to make sure about it. I want to increase 2 inch at the very back, which is 14th row. And my target stitch count is 100. 100 divided by 14 is about 7 stitches. So this is my German short row number, 7. That's the most important number here. Okay, so let's start knitting. Okay, so row number 1, knit 7. Okay, and then turn. And every time you turn, you make a big gap. Okay, so you have to do something to avoid that gap. And now I'll show you. Keep the working yarn front, slip 1 stitch purlwise, and tug the yarn to the back to create double stitch. So here, only 1 stitch, but if you pull the working yarn towards the back, there's now 2 stitch. I call fake 2 stitch. Okay, so once you make the fake 2 stitch, I'm gonna add marker. Okay, you don't have to, but I do anyway. And yarn front and purl to begin. Okay, the reason why I put the marker there, that's because people get confused. That's because people sometimes get confused which one is the fake 2-stitch. Okay, that's why I add markers. It's kind of important. And pass the begin marker and purl 7. This is still row number 2, wrong side. Purl 7 and then turn. And again, every time you turn, you create the little gap. So you got to do something, which is, make the double fake stitch. Anyway, turn and then YF, which is yarn front, slip 1 purl wise, tug the yarn towards the back to create double stitch. Fake. Can you see? Now 2-stitch. Okay, and add marker. Oh, this is a little bit too big. And add the pink one is the fake double stitch marker, I should say. Okay, and keep the working yarn back because this is knitting side now. Okay, start knitting and knit to the the other side of the pink marker. You know what I'm saying? Pink marker, which means fake double stitch, right? So you have to do something right there. So knit until the pink marker. So when you reach the pink marker, remove it, and I call German short row knit 2 together. This is knitting side, okay? So knit 2 together. Then knit 7. Do you remember my German short row number is 7, right? So after the knit 2 together, knit 7 and then turn. And you have to kind of repeat same thing on and on, okay? Turn, and this is row number 4, wrong side. Yarn front, slip 1 purlwise, tug the yarn back and front because this is purl side. I add the marker, which is fake double stitch, and purl towards to the other side of the pink marker, which is right after the pink marker. You have a fake 2-stitch, right? So forget about the knit 7 or purl 7 until you make purl 2 together or knit 2 together. Okay, this time, okay, purl 2 together because you're knitting wrong side. There you go. So this is the fake marker, and here comes the fake 2-stitch. Now purl side, so G, purl 2 together. G means German short row. Purl 2 together and purl 7. Why 7? I already told you this is my German short row base number, right? So purl 7 and row number 3. Repeat row 3 and row 4. I just tug the working yarn to create the the fake 2-stitch and just keep knitting until the other side of the pink marker. Okay, so repeat row number 3 and row number 4. And here we go. Remove and G, knit 2 together. And then now you knit 7. However, if I knit 7, you pass the Raglan marker. So do not count 1 stitch before and after. Okay, so let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stop. 5 and stop. And now you move on to increasing. Okay? Picking up the running thread, hook on. This is make one right because right side of the marker. Okay? The running thread is the towards to shifting towards to right and knit front loop. This is make one right and knit one. Then slide the marker and knit one, and this is make one left. Okay? Make one left. And this is nothing to do with German short row. This is increasing. Okay? So now knit back loop. This is make one left. Then this is it. Okay? So I knit 5, right? So now 6 and 7. I already start doing JSR. And then slide one marker, tag the yarn to the back and create the fake 2 stitch, add marker and keep the working yarn front and start purl. Okay? And around that raglan marker, you just make purl because you just increase. Okay? Increasing is increasing row and next row should be no increasing. So just a purl. Okay? But this is the little bit tricky, okay? Because you're on wrong side. So this is German short row purl 2 together. And now you have to purl 7. And you pass the raglan marker. So one stitch before and after you can't not count, okay, as German short row. So let's do that. Purl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. 5. Remember 5. Okay? And now you have to do increasing for raglan. You know what I'm saying? Every time you pass raglan marker, you have to increase. And increasing on purl side is all about the knitting side. So this side, right side of the marker, but from the knitting side is left side. So this side is make one left purl. Okay? So make one left purl is you kind of have to put the needle from back loop from back. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's make one left purl. Okay? And then knit one. Then slide the marker and purl 1, and this time make one right purl. Okay? The running thread shifting right, that's same, and just put the needle straight in and purl. And now 6 and 7, which is German short row count. Okay? And row number 3, slide the marker, tug the, yarn towards the back and create the 2 stitch, fake 2 stitch, and then start knitting. And again, around the raglan marker, do not increase because you just increase row number 1. So this is your row number 2. You know what I'm saying? This is the part you get confused, okay? Because you're counting for the German short row, but in the middle you have to increase. So, it's kind of hard, but it's kind of fun, Okay, so this is row number 3, okay? So you have to knit until the pink marker, right? But you're going to pass the raglan marker again. So now, there we go. But you don't have to count this time because counting starts after the knit two together. You know what I'm saying? So this is make one left on right side. So just the regular way, right? And then there you go, knit, knit, and remove, and G, knit two together. And then count starts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. And turn and row number 4. Okay. So the most difficult part is, in the middle of counting for short row, then increase kicks in. But this time, you're not in the middle of the, counting for short row. So it was easy. So you just have to do back and forth. And now, wrong side, increasing because it's blue raglan line. So make one left, purl. Left is from back and back. You know what I'm saying? There you go. And then purl 1, slide the marker, purl 1, and make one right purl. So again, please be careful about the row number 2 for increasing. Okay, there you go. Remove the pink marker and G, purl 2 together, and count start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then turn. And row number 3, back. So keep the working yarn front, slide, tug, put the marker, and this is knitting. So keep the working yarn back and then knit all the way down to the other side. And you're passing the raglan marker, and make sure, did you just increase? Is this increase in row number 1 or 2? Yeah, this is row number 2. So just knit. You know what I'm saying? So please do not get confused. Maybe you should write it down. Okay? And you just go back and forth. As you can see, the around the begin marker, you get more rows. Okay? So here comes almost done, close to the target marker, right? So here comes. So this is, fake 2 stitch. So knit 2 together, right? German short row, knit 2, and 1 and 2, and stop counting, then increase kicks in. So make one right, because this is knitting increasing. Right side, make one right and knit 1, slide the marker, knit 1, and make one left. And right after increasing, the count starts. And I knit 2 stitch, so starting with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is close enough to the target, so this is my last German short row for this side, but you gotta go back the other side. Okay, so there you go. This is gonna be last, fake 2 stitch, and you will come back and knit 2 together the the fake 2 stitch you just made. And this one I just did the increasing, so just nothing, just all purl, and just purl until the other side of the the pink marker. Okay, so this time, are you going to increase? Yes, you have to. and I just did, and pass that pink marker and G, purl 2 together, and 1, 2, then increasing. There you go. Because this is increasing row for the, wrong side. Make one left purl and knit purl 1 and slide the marker, purl 1, and make one right purl. And after this increasing, the count start from 3, right? Yeah, same as the other side. The difference is this time is purl. Purl 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, this is close enough to the target line. So this is last fake 2-stitch creation. And you go back to begin marker. And again, you're going to pass the blue raglan marker, but you just increase. So this is going to be increase in row number 2. So you're not going to, do anything. Just go back. Okay? And whenever you go back, okay, you start knitting in round. Okay? So as you can see, the back side is more row, and towards to the front, less and less. You know why, right? So also the raglan line starts right underneath of the neck rib. So what do you think? Is this little bit, complicated? Well, maybe, but maybe not. Okay? So anyway, go back to begin marker. I didn't want to do this before because I want you to get used to do the short row first. And, now you got used to, so maybe, skilled up a little bit. Anyway, we're going to start knitting in round, okay? And next row will be increasing row, right? So at the blue marker, raglan marker, I am going to increase. And come to the, short row fake 2-stitch, and I just did the knit 2 together. And don't go back, just keep knitting, remove the all the marker, because this is end of the short row, and pass the yellow target marker as well. And you gotta stop 2-stitch before the pink marker, because it was supposed to be G purl 2 together, but now you're not gonna go back to wrong side. So this is knit 2 together, okay? And fake stitch is before the marker this time. So here you go. This is the German short row, knit 2 together. So short row is done, okay? And at the raglan marker, increase, because this is increasing row. And after this, you just keep knitting, increasing row number 1 and row number 2. Increasing row number 2 this time, on it, because no more wrong side. Okay? So let's see. There you go. So this is end of the German short row. As you can see, okay, the back piece, which is where the begin marker is higher. So now let's do this. Fold it. There you go. 2 inch higher than front. And then raglan increasing starts right after the neck rib for back and front. Okay? What do you think? Do you really like it? And do you want to do this with Japanese short row? Sure, you can do that. And maybe I'm going to try some other time. But maybe German short row to start with is maybe easier. And again, from now on, you're going to knit in round and repeat of increase in row number 1 and row number 2 until your desired length. And desired length is your raglan line meets, okay, underneath of your armpit. If you want to have a baggy, sleeve, you can just keep increasing. Okay? Okay, so I knit enough, about 7 inches. And now I'm going to separate the 2 sleeves out of the yokes. And then I am going to connect front and back and, keep knitting the body part. But the body part, I have to have stitch count multiple of 20. And I count front and back stitches, and I had 166. And I decided, okay, my body should be 180 stitches after I add new cast underneath of my armpit. So let's do the math. 180 minus 166 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I am going to add 7 stitches for new cast on each side when you connect front and back. So start knitting, okay, to first marker. Here comes. Knit until first marker and remove the marker and transfer all the sleeve stitch onto scrap yarn. Please use the scrap yarn, okay? Because if you want to try it on, scrap yarn is flexible, okay? And by the way, I said I decide 180 stitches for my body, right? Make sure 180 stitches big enough for your body. I mean, make sure the total stitch count is big enough, okay? And for me, 180 stitches big enough. So, okay? And it's multiple of 20. Anyway, so now I separate the, sleeves, the first sleeves, and then I am going to add new cast 7 here. So you can actually add many more if you want, as long as the total stitch count is multiple of 20. You know what I'm saying? And I add 7. Okay? And then connect. That's it. And you do exactly same thing for the other side. Knit until the other side, next marker, and then again transfer all the sleeve stitch onto scrap yarn, add 7 stitch, and then knit, connect, and knit to the begin marker. That's it. There you go. I already did. And sleeve, just leave it and keep knitting for the body part. And again, do you remember my Ajisai flower is 7.7 inches according to my gauge? So I have to stop 7.7 to 8 inches before the rib starts. Okay? So you kind of have to think backwards. And I knit few rows and I stop. Okay? I knit total of maybe 8 inches and that's enough. And there you go, about 8 inch. Total of 16. And I add, the rib afterwards. So that's cool. Okay. So again, if you want to knit longer, you can knit longer, then start body. If you want to make shorter, shorter. Okay. So I add markers again every 20 stitches because the Ajisai pattern is repeat of 20 stitches. So, easy to find out you make a mistake. Okay, so there you go. Let's start. Row number 1, knit 1. MB means make bubble. Super easy. Knit front, back, and front. You make 3 stitches out of 1 stitch. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Turn around. Purl 3. This is kind of row 2, right? Bubble. And bubble row 3, knit 3. And bubble row 4, purl 3. And bubble row 5, easy. Keep the working yarn back. Slip 1 knitwise. Knit 2 together. You have to decrease because it was supposed to be 1 stitch. Knit 2 together and slip stitch over. PSSO, pass the slip stitch over. And then, okay, this is it. Next stitch, you knit tight, very tight. This is the key, okay? And knit 7, and I'm going to make bubble 1 more time. I mean, actually 2 more time. There you go. So you make bubble, and whenever you knit 1 stitch next to it, knit really tight. So I am going to make bubble now. Knit front and back and front. Then drop the stitch off and bubble row number 2. Purl 3. 1, 2, 3. And bubble row number 3. Knit 3, 2, 3. And turn around. Bubble row number 4. Purl 3. And bubble row number 5 is the last. Keep the working yarn back, slip knitwise, and knit 2 together, and PSSO. Pass the slip stitch over, and whenever you knit next one, make bubble kind of round. There you go, and tight, very tight. You don't maybe see I'm knitting very tight, but I am. Okay. Also, the key for the making bubble is actually next row as well. Okay, this is the last make bubble. And let me tell you, because you already know how to make bubble, next row, which is row number 2, on top of the bubble and before and after, knit tight around that bubble because it's going to be kind of loose, and don't worry about it. As long as you knit tight right after the bubble, also right on top of the bubble, it's going to stay. But if you are not knitting tight enough, the bubble is going the other side, make a little hole, little loose. It's okay, but around that bubble, just knit tight. also, yeah, I just did, the bubble actually went the other side, right? Push it back to the front and then knit. Okay, there you go. So row number 1, just repeat those 20 stitches. Okay, that's it. And row number 2, all knit. Super easy. Okay, I'm not going to show you everything, just a key point. Okay, row number 3 comes yarn over to start. Okay, and I say YF means yarn front. I just want you to make sure that yarn front. And then knit 2 and SSK, slip, slip, knit, which is, okay, slip knitwise and one more, then put the needle back front, then knit those two together. Okay, that's SSK and knit 2, then make bubble. You already know, knit front and back and front. And sometimes people use garter stitch for bubble, which means, row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything is all knit. It's your preference, okay? But this time I use the stockinette stitch bubble, which is knit on right side and purl on wrong side, okay? And sometimes, people make bigger bubble, more rows. But I think, 5 rows are the good enough. And make bubble, okay? And then next knit tight. Push the bubble out front and knit 1 tight and make bubble. Row number 3, there's lots of bubble. And there's only 1 stitch in between. So please knit very tight. The bubble itself, you don't really have to make tight bubble, okay? After the bubble, you have to knit tight. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of skipped and maybe not. This is the last bubble. So row number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to make 4 bubble, lots of bubble. And again, if you want to make the smaller flower, there's a chart in the written pattern, okay? So watch that, use that chart. And knit very tight, and one more. There you go, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Then knit 2 together. Easy. Knit 2 together. Knit 2, yarn over. Okay, there's yarn over and, decreasing SSK, knit 2 together. The key is do not forget yarn over, because the yarn over creates 1 extra stitch. And because there's the decreasing and all that, but you have to have a same stitch count every time, right? So if you forget to do the yarn over, there you go. That's, you make a mistake and you gotta redo it. So you gotta be very careful. Okay? So there you go. Push the bubble back out to the front. Okay? Knit 2 together. And after this, just follow my written pattern. Okay? And nothing new technique. And I meet you on row number 25. And here comes. Nothing really important, but yarn over. I want to make sure about it. Okay, yarn over, which is yarn front, and knit 2, and SSK, slip, slip, knit, and knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and knit 2 together and knit 2. And here comes the yarn over, and the bracket says double yarn over. Okay, because yarn over in between knit stitch and purl stitch, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so you have to do double yarn over. And if you want to know, I make a short video, so you can actually watch that video. Okay, so knit, and then the last one is purl. So you have to, okay, do something, because if I, put the working yarn front, then purl, that's regular purl. No increasing, right? So you have to increase one stitch because you just decreased, right? So if the yarn over from knit to purl stitch, you have to do double yarn over, which is yarn over once and twice, then purl. Then after that, there you go, you have a yarn over in between those two. There you go. One stitch yarn over. Okay? That's all you have to remember. Okay? And now you have to yarn over from purl to knit. Okay? Because it's repeating, right? So if it's purl to knit, the working yarn has to be front. Keep the working yarn front and then knit 1. There we go. So that's why I said yarn over and YF, which means yarn front. Okay? And then knit 2, SSK, and all that. Okay? And one more time, double yarn over. So knit and then yarn over and purl. So yarn over once and then twice. So double yarn over and purl 1. There you go. And keep the working yarn front and then knit. Okay, if I put the working yarn back, that's just a regular knit. So keep the working yarn front and then knit. And there's the yarn over. Okay, that's it. And next is row number 27, easy, KBL, which is knit back loop. That's it. So knit back loop gives you a little bit different, knitting texture. That's it. And rest of them are the same. And row number 53, almost done. Okay? Knit 8 and yarn over and knit 3 together, which is easy. So maybe I don't really have to show you, but I will anyway. Okay? Yarn over and knit 3. 1, 2, 3 together. Knit 2 together, right? So now you grab 3 stitch. That's it. And then yarn over and knit 9. And you finish until row number 56. Again, I include different versions. So, you choose whichever you like. Okay? And after row number 56, my Ajisai flower height should be 7.7 to 8 inches. So there you go. It's done. About 8 inches or a little less. And now I want to increase 20 to 30% of the current stitches, because I'm going to use the smaller needle and 2x2 ribbon, and it's going to get shrink a bit, which I don't like it. So 20 to 30% increasing make the sweater kind of straight down. And let me talk about the math now. Here it says increasing before the rib and 20 to 30% of the current stitches. And here's the thing, my current stitch is 180 times 0.2 is 39. So 39 plus 180 is 219. And if it's 30%, 234. And you have to find out the stitch count multiple of 4 because I'm going to add 2x2 ribbon. So I pick 224. And this is the manual way to find out. Okay, it's 224 minus 180 equal 44. Da 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 da. And then I have to add 1 stitch every 4 stitches. And if you use my template, okay, number 16, okay, current stitch is 180, and then total stitch is 224, which is multiple of 4. So increase in total is 44. Okay, frequency means, how often you have to increase. So you have to add 1 stitch every 4.09. You can actually increase 44. And this set means this number is not the primary number 4.5 or 4.22 or 4.09. You have to make sure about it. So if I increase every 4 stitch, there you go, I am going to ended up increasing 45, but I want to increase 44, which means at last, I don't increase. You know what I'm saying? If I increase 4 stitch every, increase 1 stitch every 4 stitches, I ended up increase 45. So just delete 1 stitch increasing. That's it. Okay. So that's how you find out. Okay. Okay. So let's do that. I don't maybe really have to show you how to increase, but I'm going to do it. Okay. So this is end of the row 56, and next row, after I knit 4 stitch, increase 1. And I'm going to use, make 1 left this time, but you can use make 1 right. But if you use make 1 right, make 1 right all the way around. You know what I'm saying? And after increasing row finish, knit 1 row and then change the needle, and 2x2 ribbon starts. And here comes, okay, and 2x2 ribbon, same, with the 3mm needle, repeat of knit 2 and purl 2 until your desired length. You have to be very careful with the, first row, because from the second row, you just knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. Starting with knit 2 and end with purl 2. If not, you did something wrong. Maybe the stitch count is not multiple of 4, or maybe you did, something wrong. Okay, and then bind off, easy. Just a 1 size bigger needle. It's gonna be a little bit stretchy because more fabric means more space to expand. So just knit over knit and bind off. And even though you're using 1 size bigger needle, bind off loosely. I mean, don't pull too hard, okay? You don't really have too loose, you don't have to be, Don't pull too hard. Okay? Then, there you go. It's done. Beautiful. Look at that. Okay? So right before the rib, I increase, so you don't really see much, right? But yes, it's not shrinking, which means, increasing will be, better. Well, better for me. I sometimes don't like shrinking at the end. Okay, so now let's talk about the sleeves. I again minimize the little gap around that, armpit area. Okay, so let's do that. First of all, transfer all the stitch back onto the needle, and I add one stitch just before the last original stitch, and I'm gonna add one more, and that'll be just before the last new cast. And also I am going to add biggie marker. And now let me talk about it. This is a little bit different. I usually knit up same number as new cast. So I add 7 new casts. So usually I knit up 7. But I thought about it. Okay, I'm not knitting right on the stitch, in between stitch. So I should have one more extra. And I sometimes get confused. So you will ended up knit up new cast plus one extra. Okay, that's what you have to remember. So I add 7 new cast earlier. So I am going to knit up 8 stitches around that new cast part. Okay, and then I will have to knit 2 extra this side, you know, after the last original and before the new cast. There's a little gap right there. Okay, and there's one little divider, and then you see 2 running thread. That area I am going to knit up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna knit up like that, because if I knit up like that, it's gonna get big hole. And the other side, same thing. Okay, I am going to knit up 2 extra as well. So let's do that together. Okay, right after the last original, there's first running thread. Okay, and this is the last original. Okay, 1, 2, okay, and one more down. So not including the current stitch. So 1, 2, second stitch of the last original. So you put that thread onto my needle there, and then first running thread. Okay, I never really told you exactly where, but I'm going to tell you exactly which stitch you should knit up. Okay, this is first extra stitch. There you go. And then next one is the next running thread, and that's the divider, right? So that's the divider. And next stitch, it's hard to see, but that's running thread. And okay, that's the one. Can you see? And not the second stitch, this time the first stitch down and running thread. Okay, so first extra stitch, second stitch down. Okay, and second running thread is 1 stitch down, right side. And then now new cast above the new cast. So I am going to knit up 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to add my biggie marker. Okay, and 5, 6, 7. And I was going to add marker, but I forgot. And 8. That's the extra for new cast. Okay, I add 7, but I knit up 8. And then now, third extra, those 2 running thread. Okay, so the inside of running thread, okay, 1 down, 1 down, okay, 1 stitch down and running thread, and then knit up. And outside of the running thread, the original 1, 2, okay, 1, 2 down, the first original stitch, and 1, 2 down, and then knit up. This is fourth extra. There you go. Those 2 are the third and fourth. So before the last new cast, which is 8th new cast knit up, I add marker. Did you get that? 1, 2, 3, and there you go. That's the second marker. And I am going to knit around until the yellow marker, which is before the last original. There you go. So I knit up extra, and now I am going to decrease those extra stitches to minimize the gap. The first one, okay, the last original and first extra, I'm gonna decrease. And second extra and new cast. And this side, the last new cast and third extra. And fourth extra with first original. Okay, it's a little confusing, but I'll show you. Okay, so knit until yellow. There we go. So knit, and then remove the marker, and that's the last original and first extra stitch, right? SSK, slip, slip, knit. And next one is second extra and first new cast knit up, knit 2 together. Okay? Then knit all the way down to the other red marker, okay? Past the begin marker. And do the same thing. So to avoid or minimize the gap, knit up extra and then decrease next row. So again, that's the last new cast knit up and then third extra, SSK. Okay? SSK. So the difference is I told you exactly where to knit up, and then you knit 1 extra for new cast. That's it. Okay, so this is fourth extra and then first the original stitch, knit 2 together. That's it. And after that, knit 1 row until begin marker. And now connection has done. Then now let me talk about the sleeve shape. Okay? But before that, make sure there's no big gap. You can see little, opening there, but once you start knitting, it will close. So don't worry about it. So now you want to add sleeves. And then I want to talk about how to decrease evenly. It's about the math again, but it's simple, so don't worry about it. And you can see little dot, that's the place I decrease. Okay, so you need three numbers. One, current stitch count. I have 71 stitches. And two, the length you want to knit from there to before the rib. And I decide 15 inches. Okay, and then your goal stitch count must be multiple of 4. Okay, you wrap around your wrist and then count, and I decide 52 stitches is the goal. So you wrap around the wrist like this and then count. That's all. Don't worry about too much. If you want to tight, you pull and then count. It's really up to you. I don't like really tight wrist, so I just kind of wrap nice and easy. Okay, so it's really up to you. Then let's move on to my math template again. My math gauge template again, and I still keep the my gauge over here. So let's find out the number really quick. Number 17. Again, if you don't have this, you have to find out the number manually, but as long as you follow my written instruction, you should be able to find out easily. Okay, so the current stitch count, I have 71, and goal stitch count is 52, which is multiple of 4, and total decreasing is 19. It's just 71 minus 52, and the stitch decreasing in row means everybody put the 2, because I'm going to decrease 2 stitch on every decreasing row. And the length is 15 inches. So let me actually explain this. Okay, first of all, length. If I want to knit 15 inches more, before the rib, I knit at least 108.75 rows. Okay, and there's no such a number, so at least 109 rows. Okay, and then during the 109 rows, I have to decrease 19 stitches evenly. Okay, so and the answer is right here. The frequency 11.44. So you have to decrease 2 stitches every 11.44 rows. And then, well, this is not the even number, so at the end you have to decrease 1 stitch, to make it 19. Anyway, so there's no such a number 11.44 row, so either every 11th row or every 12th row. So let's put this set number. If I set 11, okay, you only need 104.5 row, which means whenever you finish decreasing, you have to knit at least 5 more rows without the decreasing. Okay? Or to reach the 15 inches. Or I put 12, 114. Yeah, I'm gonna take this one. Okay? So every 12th row, I am going to decrease. You know what I'm saying? And then, need 111. So every 12, right here, 12. So this is the number you have to decrease. That's going to be decreasing row. So right here, And there's no 114. Do you know why? Because the last decrease will be 1 stitch, right? So 19 minus 1 is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So here, so for me, okay, after 9th decreasing, okay, I'm not going to knit another 12. I only knit another 6 rows and then decrease 1 stitch. That'll be 114. You got it? So I include everything in my written pattern, so don't worry about it. And let's move on to knitting part. Okay, so after I connect, I already knit 11th row, and this is end of 11th row. So after I pass that begin marker, it's gonna be 12th row, so which is my decreasing row. Okay, so you have to be very careful on right on the decreasing row. Okay, 12 for me. So knit 2 together and just knit until last 3 stitches. Okay, and then last stitches, super easy, SSK and knit 1. And you knit another, 11th row, and then right on the 12th row, you decrease 2 stitches. And again, my last row should be 114, and I'm going to decrease only 1 stitch. Okay? And after you finish the all the decreasing, knit 1 row and then add in the rib. Okay, I add 11 row of the 2x2 ribbon. So you have to actually count because you have 2 sleeves. Okay, and now I'm gonna tell you how to do stretchy bind off with the tapestry needle. Okay, you can actually bind off with one size bigger needle. Okay, but with the tapestry needle bind off is more stretchy. So around the wrist, this is, the best method. So purl 2 together, no stitch dropping off, and knit first one, and then drop the stitch off. That's it. And don't pull too hard, okay? And purl 2 together, you just have to repeat. Do not drop any stitch off, and knit 1, then you drop 1 stitch off. That's it. And then after that, weave the ends off. That's about it. Okay, so the sleeve stretchy and beautiful, decreasing sleeve, and I love the increasing and German short row, and of course Ajisai flower. It's beautiful design, and I am so sorry it's such a long video, but everything I talk about is necessary. If you have any question, please let me know in my, comment section. Okay? So, bye for now. Enjoy knitting.